Good evening. Welcome to the June 10th, 2025 meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxboro Cable Access. We are going to go into executive session and return from executive session on or about 7 o'clock. So can I have a roll call on?
Motion to move into executive session to conduct strategy and negotiation session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiations with non-union personnel regarding the contract for Police Chief Michael Grace.
Second.
All in favor? Roll call, please.
Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Thank you. So we'll be back at 7. Thank you. Welcome back. We'll start with the pledge. Doc, you want to help?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Anything for citizens' input from anybody? Anybody online?
Nope.
Thank you. We have to wait a few minutes to start the
Do you want to do some action items?
public hearing. Yeah, you want to do
Zillion
it?
of them.
Just grab the first one.
All right, hold on one moment. I'm so sorry. Action items. The licenses. Motion to approve the 2026 commercial parking license renewals as read.
Second.
Did I read?
I'm going to read them.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry, apologies.
That was the first one.
Sorry. Okay. Lot number 2, Olive and Mint / Nerby Inc., 2 Washington Street, 210 spaces. 8 Guard Motel, 8 Washington Street, 30 spaces. P9 Foxborough Realty Associates, 1 Patriot Place, 711 spaces. P10 FXP LLC, 1 Patriot Place, 7,366 spaces. P11 FXP LLC, 1 Patriot Place, 4,727 spaces. 16 Lot 16 Washington Street LLC, 16 Washington Street, 177 spaces. Lot 18 MNL Enterprises LLC, 18 Washington Street, 118 spots. Lot 20 Stadium Mobile, 20 Washington Street, 30 spaces. Lot 29 Route 1 Liquors, 29 Washington Street, 187 spaces. Lot 31 LaRusso Family Trust, 31 Washington Street, 363 spaces. Lot 33 Foxborough Realty Trust 2, 67 Washington Street, 261 spaces. Lot 45 Broadman Ford Sales, 45 Washington Street, 350 spaces. Lot 59 HD Park LLC, 59 Washington Street, 501 spaces. Lot 60 Foxborough Realty Associates LLC, 1 Patriot Place, 12,500 spaces. Lot 91 Washington Street Investors LLC, 91 Washington Street, 788 spots. Lot 94 BRH Park, 94 Washington Street, 167 spots. Lot 95 Star Fox Realty Trust, 95 Washington Street, 321 spots. Lot 96 Red Fox Motel, 96 Washington Street, 57 spots. Lot 99 Foxborough Rotary, 99 Washington Street, 100 spots. That's a charity lot. Lot 101 Rodman 5 Realty Associates, 101 Washington Street, 150 spaces. Lot 102 Answers Fitness Foxborough LLC, 7 Lincoln Road, 120 spots. Lot 105 America's Best Value Inn, 105 Washington Street, 614 spaces. Lot 109 Lafayette House, 109 Washington Street, 140 spaces. Lot 113 Seasonal Specialty Stores, 113 Washington Street, 190 spaces. Lot 123 Boston Business Bays LLC, 123 Washington Street, 96 spots. 124 Lot 124 Pinebrook Office Condo Association, 124 Washington Street, 120 spots. Lot 125, Pine Street parking / Alicia Santos, 28 Pine Street, 50 spots. Lot 200, Calvin and Ellen Davis, 200 North Street, 46 spots. Lot 208, FRA Terminals LLC, 1 Patriot Place, 425 spots. Lot 210, KPE Realty Trust Country Store Enterprises, 212 North Street, 40 spots. And Lot 211, Hercules Realty Trust, 211 North Street, 40 spots.
I'm going to redo it. I apologize.
Yep.
Okay, motion to approve the 2026 commercial parking license renewals as read.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Okay, being on or about 7:05, we'll open up the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing. The Select Board acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to MGL Chapter 138 will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, beginning at 7:05 in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, Foxborough, Mass. On the application of an on-premise annual all-alcohol restaurant license for TPM International Incorporated, doing business as Eleveno Pickleball, 340 Patriot Place, Foxborough, Mass. Manager Robert A. Seraph. Is that right?
Jason.
I'm sorry. Jason? It says Robert.
Robert J. though, he's an A.
Robert J. Sorry. Seraph. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
Roll call.
Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Mark, you seconded it, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, or evening, I guess.
I think we've tipped over into evening.
Would you like to introduce yourselves? And
Absolutely.
Give us a nickel tour of what you plan to do here.
Sure. I mean, we're here, we might as well. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller & Hanley in Boston, here on behalf of TPM International, also known as Eleveno Pickleball, which is proposing to operate at 340 Patriot Place. I'm joined tonight by Jody Culte, the president and CEO and founder of Eleveno Pickleball, Bob Seraph, the head of operations and proposed manager of record, and I assume you all recognize Brian Early from Patriot Place. We're here tonight to kind of introduce you to Eleveno and to describe how they're going to operate for you. Just quickly, a quick introduction. Eleveno is proposing to create a space that, a pickleball space that the community will find it welcoming, that fosters a friendly competition and shared celebrations. They have had experience in the area with offering a variety of local pop-up tournaments in Foxborough and the surrounding areas. They have operated this concept on a less formal scale for a number of years now and are looking to move to make this a permanent part of the Foxborough community. With that, I will hand it over to Jody, who will walk you through her concept and this fun and exciting addition to the Foxborough area.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here in the Foxborough community. We're extremely excited to be bringing our pickleball flagship to the New England area, and more specifically Foxborough, Massachusetts. So as Tom already mentioned, our vision for the Eleveno flagship is a real social entertainment facility that would include 9 indoor pickleball courts, 6 outdoor pickleball courts, and then a strong and robust food and beverage concept, including both indoor and outdoor operations. We have everything called 3,000 people to glow dark pickleball to and drink different breweries. So we've finally found our home at Patriot Place, and we're excited to bring that consistent theme of shared experiences through food and beverage and sport to Foxborough, Massachusetts. We are taking over the former Christmas tree shop building, so unfortunately there won't be many tournaments left to purchase in our space, but plenty of pickleballs and paddles to be purchased. So as I mentioned before, we have about 40,000 square feet indoor and then about 17,000 square feet outdoor, all connected through a pathway from indoor to outdoor. We operate year-round, and as you can see, there's connectivity with our indoor and outdoor space. This is just a rendering of our outdoor space, so we'll be transforming it with navy and white, which is our brand colors. And then this is just a sneak peek of the indoor. We are going very thematic with our indoor courts with a beautiful mural highlighting New England and what's special to the facility and then also the surrounding neighborhoods. I'm going to pass it over to Tom to go layout in our food and beverage programming.
So as Jody said, they're taking over the Christmas tree shop space. The interior space is approximately 40,000 square feet. As she said, it's it's 9 courts with a central bar and service area. There is a championship court with seating around it. You can see that to the left of the central bar and service area. And for the big matches, for the big events that they're when they get the professional pickleball players coming in to show everybody how it's actually supposed to be done, like people are doing right down the way at Gillette. So the outdoor space is the outdoor space here is about 17,500 square feet with dedicated food and beverage facilities. Overall, the space will be, during the warm months, it'll be the 6 courts that you see, and during the colder months, the very popular ice skating rink that has been at Patriot Place for the last couple of years will occupy that space. So it is going to be a year-round operation at the premise. Just quickly to introduce Bob, because he's stuck over there running the presentation. He is
button pressure today.
well, I mean, especially when I throw curveballs at you and you skip a
Hop in
slide.
outdoor when I'm halfway,
Yep.
3 sides away. Tom.
Skip a slide. He is, as I said, the proposed manager of record. Bob has worked in the management of the food and beverage industry for more than 10 years, and including management of fitness facilities that hold alcoholic beverage licenses. So he is very familiar with the concept and the challenges and the strategies for operating a facility like this. And just to check the boxes, he is a U.S. citizen, he is TIP certified, he is familiar both with the Mass General laws, the rules of the ABCC, and this board for the sale and service of alcohol. And as the board knows, or as I know the board likes, we have been talking to both Jody and Bob about Fox Cares and making sure that he is, they both are connecting with Fox Cares to work with them to make sure best practices are in place, not only for them, but it's a two-way street. They can give them feedback on what they have learned throughout their years of operation. I'm sure you guys have questions, so I just will sum up here by saying that Eleveno is, as we referenced, it's a local company driven by local people. Both Jody and Bob are from the area and live in the area. The team here wants to create a fun, warm, and welcoming environment for the Foxborough and surrounding communities, a space that people can come, gather, enjoy both a game of pickleball and the quality food and beverage they'll be offering. So with that, we appreciate you all have other things you want to take care of tonight, so we'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Doc?
Yeah, 2 questions. So on the outside courts, will it be that trailer that'll be, or will it be an outdoor bar?
So that trailer is just an example. It's a nice rendering, but the bar itself, the outdoor space, will be a larger, more secure facility than that specific trailer.
Okay, so and it will be, I see up there within, did I see there's going to be fencing around it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And will there be transfer of alcohol between indoor and outdoor?
Yes, that's one of the reasons there's that path that's dedicated from the front door of the indoor space out to the exterior space.
I think what you're asking is, would a guest be transferring?
Oh, I
Correct.
I apologize.
No, they will not.
No, there will not be.
Okay, because I
No, you cannot buy a drink inside and walk it outside.
walk over to the outdoor
Correct.
court.
The only transfer will be supply back and forth, that's it.
And restocking, yep. Thank you, Brian.
And, if I may, another question. And how will that be secured at night? It being an outdoor facility, will all the alcohol at the end of the night be brought inside?
No, the trailer itself is secure, it will be locked down, and into the inside coolers and storage areas will be, have a secondary lock on them as well. So it's not a fiberglass thing that somebody can just kind of break in. It is a secure, structurally sound facility, and then there's another step with it being locked up inside as well.
Okay. One more quick question. Hours of operation?
Hours operation?
Yep, 7 a.m. So the operation for the pickleball facilities, Sunday through Thursday, 7 to 10, Friday and Saturday, 7 to midnight. Understanding the hours of operation for the sale of alcohol are different and regulated by Mass State law. We'll abide by those. 8 a.m. to closing hour per the board, half hour before closing, and 10 a.m. on Sundays if the board approves.
Thank you.
What are you
Are we
looking?
playing pickleball on game days?
Yeah, the facility is open and operating like any of the other facilities inside Patriot Place, and they'll be able to, customers will be able to come in and play a game of pickleball and enjoy the facilities while some other people are enjoying a different sort of game.
Are any of your other facilities near a stadium or somewhere where, so I guess what I'm going to get at is, I guess my only concern would be is that you've got people in a parking lot, they could have been drinking for 6 hours and then decide to wander in. So I would say just, I know everybody's tip certified, but I would say that obviously that would be something that you'd really have to have somebody who is monitoring as people are coming in, what they've already had to drink, because, that could be, people are at the game and then they come out at 4 o'clock and say, hey, let's go play some pickleball. And they've been drinking since 9 a.m. when
Is
that
that
lot is
before or
open.
after they throw axes?
Yes, that's right. Oh, believe me, that was my question. I'm like, we're going to serve alcohol? You're going to serve alcohol? And then they're going to throw axes? But, yeah, I mean, listen, it seems to me like you guys have a great business, a great plan. I just wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention the whole, we all know there's a lot of drinking going on up there. And because of where it is, it's not like it's in the stadium where in the stadium, they have their own, way of, everybody gets carded in the stadium. Doesn't matter if you look 80 years old, they just card everybody. But it's just you have no idea what those people are drinking, and they're, what they've had in the parking lot then in. So yeah, just something to, we don't ever want to see you back in front of us because there was an issue. So yeah, just something, it's just a different animal up there. So I'm sure it looks like your business is a very well-run business, just something that I would say this board would be a little worried about, and just to let you know that, you guys have to really be up on that.
That's a great thing about
And our team will be working, with their team as they look to that. I don't see a lot of activity, honestly, on event day. I should say that, as we all know, for a 3-hour period while an event's going on, it's easy to access and utilize spaces around Patriot Place. And that's, I think, really where they're going to be focused. No one, people who go into the game, I don't see them being really part of this. It's really people who, there's such a low capacity for pickleball courts in the area that people, if they know they can get there for 3 hours while, let's say, a game is going on, they'll take advantage of it because there's just not enough courts anywhere, as the town knows and every other town knows. But I think that's who the catering on an event day would be.
Yeah.
Much like our spin classes, our bar, Pure Bar yoga classes, that's when they target those times when people can get in and out after the load-in has happened and before the exit.
And I know you do a great job up there, Brian, even from, having some alcohol, like, the little stands outside in Patriot Place and stuff like that, so I know this isn't your first rodeo.
No, but I mean, it's I consider this a very low-intensity use, but regardless, to your point, on event days, you don't want anybody who hasn't been there to, so we'll be down there with
Yeah.
them.
And yeah, that's a great thing about being in Patriot Place is there's a wealth of experience between Brian and his team, the partnerships with FPD, and just making sure that they can operate in a way that is safe. And I've talked with Jody and Bob about the staying within the regulations, and it's a whole lot better to refuse service and instead of owning the problem and having me come back down here with them. As much as we love seeing you guys, we want to see you for these reasons and not the other ones.
Yeah.
So,
When are you looking to open?
Yeah, we'll be opening our outdoor courts in August and our indoor in October.
Cool.
I might have missed something, but if I'm standing in the parking lot and looking at the Christmas tree shop, where are the outdoor courts? I can't
Turned
visualize.
around.
Behind you.
Behind
Do you know where
me.
the ice rink was this
Yeah,
year?
Bob, can you go back to?
That whole parking lot has been leveled now for
Yep.
pickleball. So that project's been going on for about 4 months. And the leveling of it allows us to have a much better skating rink surface as well.
Gets overseen by Chick-fil-A, though. You see Chick-fil-A and you just see
Yeah.
construction. So it's not Chick-fil-A, it's the one closer to Christmas Tree Shop.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good.
Okay. I have no questions, actually. I think I've seen this work in another community that I'm very familiar with, and they're very busy, and they're expanding their facilities right now. So I think, as you said, Brian, there's a lack of availability. So I think you being the first ones in the area, I think you'll do well, and I wish you the best.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Your motion?
Yep. Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes?
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes?
Okay. Motion to approve a new on-premises annual all-alcohol restaurant license, TPM International Incorporated, doing business as Eleveno Pickleball at 340 Patriot Place. Manager of record to be Robert J. Serif.
Second.
All in favor?
Did you say,
We don't have to do a
It says roll call.
No.
No.
Apologies.
It does say roll
That
call.
was me.
Oh,
I apologize. There's no roll call. It's just
Okay.
sprinkling.
Aye.
you want to
All-
throw that on everything.
Okay.
Keeping you on
All
your
in favor?
toes.
Okay. Motion to approve a common, I can never say that. Vicular license for TPM International Incorporated, doing business as 11 Pickleball at 340 Patriot Place.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to approve an annual entertainment license for TPM International Incorporated, doing business as 11 Pickleball at 340 Patriot Place.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Great. Good luck.
good luck?
Thank you.
See you guys on the court.
Or maybe just in the bar.
Jody would be happy to introduce you to the sport.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Take care.
Having a hard time with golf. Little You don't want to leave us?
I don't.
Stop with them all night.
I've been in worse places.
Okay. So next we have change of manager application for the Caldwell Management, Inc., doing business as Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place and Hilton Garden Inn, Patriot Place.
Okay. Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you? Hi. Good evening.
Good evening again, members of the board. I am still Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley in Boston, here on behalf of Colwyn Management, Inc., and their application for a change of manager of record. I'm joined by Tricia. I will let you introduce yourself because I'll screw it up.
Tricia Putniano Ferrera.
Thank you. She is the proposed manager of record. She has worked in the restaurant and hospitality industry for more than 30 years She has also previously been approved as a manager of record by the ABCC. She is a U.S. citizen. She is TIP certified. As I've described, she is extensively experienced in the industry. She is familiar both with the laws of the Commonwealth, the rules of the ABCC, and the town for the sale and service of alcohol. Like the previous matter I was here before, we've discussed with her Fox Cares, we've discussed with her reaching out and connecting with them going forward as well. With that, we'd like to thank you for hearing this application tonight, and would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Doc, you have
No, straightforward.
Yeah, what was your first name?
Tricia.
Tricia.
Yes, not Patricia.
Just curious, are you coming from another Hilton, or?
So I've been with Coleman for 4 years. I originally started at the Hilton Garden Inn at Foxborough, and then I was promoted to a Boston dual property that, so I had my liquor license there. I also had it in Mansfield when I was with a prior. That was back in 2018, 19 through the pandemic.
So you're familiar with the property?
Very familiar with the property,
Yep.
and I love being back on the stadium, so I've been back and love it.
Great,
Very happy.
great. It's for me?
Amy?
No, I'm good.
Deb?
No, what's that?
Okay. And I assume there's no real change other than the change in the management side?
There's no change in the way the day-to-day operations will be. Tricia is going to continue to keep it operating in the way the board is familiar with and come to expect.
Very good.
Okay. Motion to approve a change of manager application for Caldwell Management Incorporated, doing business as Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place and Hilton Garden Inn at Patriot Place at 28 Patriot Place. New manager of record to be Tricia Pudigana Ferreira, right? Very good, yeah.
Second.
Good better than me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Nice to have you back.
You're not going to stay for Veteran Services?
I would love to, but I've got to go. I actually have to go be somewhere else virtually. So
Good night. Thank you all.
busy night.
Good luck.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, next we have Veteran Services. One of our favorite departments. Come on.
Hi, everybody. Michelle Hamilton, Director of Veteran Services for the town of Foxborough. So I came to talk to you guys today about a couple of things within the Veterans Department and a few things that maybe we might want to look at. The first thing is that a couple of months ago, there was a discussion about putting the flag at half-staff. How do we do that? Who decides when we do that? All kinds of stuff. So the reality of it is there's only two people in this country who can order the flag to be at half-staff, which is the President of the United States and the Governor of the state. So we lost some folks here in town who are incredibly well-respected, not just veterans, but people who've done a lot for their town. And I thought there must be some way that we can recognize these folks and be respectful for maybe their military service, also their service to the town. So, picking my own brain, I kind of suggested to Paige and to Stephanie that perhaps we do some sort of a morning bunting. And I did bring some pictures, actually, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about and kind of the different looks that things can have. Can I?
Sure, absolutely.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
And just to give a little background, what Michelle was talking about.
Thank you.
I actually reached out to Paige when Mrs. Goodwin died, and we know when Mr. Arthurlet died, we had lowered the flag, and so we thought it was okay to do. You know, it was like the King of Foxborough and the Queen of Foxborough.
Right.
And then Michelle very nicely said, "You guys made a boo-boo," so.
So let's make it
I'm
right.
not gonna like hang Paige out to dry. It was my idea, right? But then she just said, I mean, it's great that we want to honor. It wasn't like we're going to do it for everybody, but that Michelle did this homework for us on other ways we could honor the people.
And historically, buntings have been laid. They do them at a lot of fire departments. They do it at a lot of police stations. We can decide the colors that we want in the buntings. We have those beautiful pillars out front. We could wrap those. So I just thought that we're better than that, and there's no reason that we couldn't do something significant to pay honor to the people of our town in a way that doesn't go against the law.
If we do a bunting, how would the people know who it's for?
Maybe perhaps an in memoriam or something like that in addition to the bunting. And as we would do these kinds of things, people would become accustomed to, oh, look at that. You know, we could do something on the common, on the Foxborough sign that would say, you know, rest in, whatever the decision is made. But I think we could just do a really good job of it and honor people because they deserve it. And still follow the protocol that, you know, that we're required to follow.
It's the same thing when we lower the flag. I don't know if anyone else has done this. Sometimes you're driving uptown and you see the flag lowered, and first thing in my head, I'm like, oh,
Why? Right.
yeah, why is it lowered? So, I mean, I guess some people would have driven around and they might have said, oh, Mrs. Goodwin just passed, Mr. Ofolet passed. And, you know, anybody else that, you know, that we may have.
Coincidentally, the same time that she passed, we had a former prisoner of war missing in action repatriated. So those flags were lowered at half-staff, actually, by order of the governor for that reason.
So we broke the rule, but we didn't
But
really
we
break.
kinda
We didn't
didn't,
really break
right.
the rule.
Right.
We didn't
Didn't
know.
get caught.
We didn't know that we were lowering it, and it was okay to be lowered for another reason.
Yeah.
But we could definitely, I mean, even just having the bunting, like to your point, Bill, if we want to somehow make it known, maybe we could put it on the website without even putting a name on anything, just like how we lower the flag. So if someone sees the bunting, they know, somebody.
And they
Yeah.
may decide to research or find out what's
Yeah.
going on. And it's an indicator to people in the community that, hey, you know, something has transpired. And perhaps they will look it up or try and find out
Yeah.
what's going on. So that was kind of my take on it. And, you know, I just think we can do a good job of it, too.
Deb, any?
Yeah, just a quick question. If they're not veterans, they would still be able to be honored.
Correct. The
But that-
bunting
would
is
that- would
for
that not- Would
anyone.
that still fall under the Veterans Department?
I guess that's up to you guys, isn't it? I think, look, I'm open to it because I think that it's significant for the community. And even though we're the Veterans Department, we're still part of the community, right? So, you know, I just
I
think,
think it's a great idea. That was the one thought that crossed my mind.
yeah, so it would be for civilians. It would be if you decided for, you know, Jack Othlet, perhaps the flag did fly at half-staff, right? Say the governor said, oh, this guy was significant, we're going to do this. And then did the buntings, too. There's no reason that you couldn't use both. But for a military person, you know, for the flag to be at half-staff, it's the governor or the president who decides that, not us.
Right.
Got it.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this. I know this isn't even like part of what your job, so you sort of saw a thing that happened and you came up with a solution, and I really appreciate that very much.
Well, I think if you talk about a problem and you don't think about a solution, then,
Yep.
you know, what good are you, quite honestly? So-
The one comment I have is that wherever or whoever is in charge of this, we should probably have like some sort of like a protocol.
Protocol, for sure,
Because
for
I
sure.
think what will happen is everybody's going to want one. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. I just think that we should really think about that.
Yep.
Well, Doc, I'll let you go first.
No, I was thinking the same thing about coming up with a policy.
So that was my only concern, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So I think the board's in kind of agreement on that. And we've already got some kind of protocol for naming of things and stuff like that. And it seems to me that it falls along the same lines
Perhaps.
of the protocol.
Yep.
That's there. It has to be something significant, you know, that either it's contribution to the town or something. But as much as everybody's feels that
Important,
their people
yes.
are significant. It's just, don't want these things up every week because it kind of.
No, because then it loses its whole
Exactly.
meaning, just like,
Right.
you know, for a period of time, we were raising and lowering the flag almost every single other day, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
You know, it loses its significance. So for us, you know, and I think that you guys would be the ones who would determine what the protocol would be and how we would apply it.
Could it be done by like a committee type thing?
Well,
I brought you
usually you
work.
don't have a lot of time. That's the problem. The person passes away. And it's,
No, I meant coming up with like
Oh,
some
the-
type,
yeah. Oh.
all of that.
I don't know, Paige, what do you think as far as the protocol itself?
I think we could work, perhaps, I mean, if you want a committee, but I think we could work with Michelle and come up with, it's almost like the asset naming too. I mean, it's similar, which is still on my to-do list, where maybe we come up with some suggestions.
Yeah.
And I think this board
That's
could
great.
probably make that decision. And then,
That's
I
what I was going
know
to say,
it's
it's almost like I
quick.
think
It's
it
a quick
should fall
turnaround.
under the select board.
Yeah.
And if we're going to come up with our policy for the naming, we just, you know, I mean, obviously, it may not be the same type of criteria, otherwise we'd be never putting a bunting up either. But
Right.
I think probably working on both of them same time with obviously input from Michelle and I don't know, maybe somebody on the board.
I was gonna say, yeah, if
Yeah.
Somebody on the board
If
takes.
you wanted to sit in.
Takes it.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And so I have a quick question. If somebody, if a veteran passed away in our community, can you reach out to the
Governor?
governor?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Through the Executive Office of Veteran
And-
Services, like if I had been here when Jack passed, I
Yeah.
would have kind of tried to go that route.
So.
But I think
yeah.
that's probably would be unusual for a community. I mean, it's 350 communities in the state.
I don't know. I mean,
So-
look, we had a POW come home, and Taunton reached out to the governor's office and got that done, and that was a person from their community. So, I mean, if we have significant people, and we do have significant people, I mean, if you can advocate for it, you know.
Well, and I guess it would be at your discretion, because you're the veterans agent. Like, if you felt the need to reach out to the governor, then you would do it.
I would do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
I got one more now.
Yep.
All right.
The Veteran Services Committee, the VSAC Committee, at our last meeting, there was a lot of talk back and forth about the terms that people are assigned. So our whole committee is 1 year, everybody at one time. They were asking me to ask you, could we do 2-year appointments, half and half? Would that be something that you would consider to give from my point of view, it would give us a position, because, you know, we're really busy in our office now, and we do a lot, and we kind of can use help from the committee. And if half and half were 2 years, you know, by the time a person's been with us for 9 months, they're barely hitting the ground running. So if they had a 2-year term, they may be more inclined to do more things within the committee. So
How many members currently on the committee?
we have 13 now. We can have
15.
15.
So it would seem like you probably want to, like most committees, have a rotation of
Stagger.
3 years, and it's a third type of thing, so that you always have a consistent
Always
base.
have a consistent base,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm shocked it isn't. It's the first time I'm hearing that it's
Yeah.
a one-year term. I
They
thought
are
all
1 year, yeah.
I thought all our committees were 3 years staggered. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else? So I think you have our
Right.
agreement. Do we need to vote on that? Yes, okay.
And how would you, so do you have a proposal on how you would, based on the current membership, would you want to assign, and how would we transition into
So
it?
typically
Do
what
like
you would
third
do
of
is
them
you would
in 3
pick
years?
out of the current membership, you would pick who's going to be the first group,
To go 3?
which would come up next year. Next group, you would say, okay, they're going to be on for 2 years, so we'd have to appoint them for a 2-year period now. And the third group, we'd appoint for a 3-year period now.
And I would kind of want to do that with the committee chairperson as opposed to just because
So you
it
want
is their committee.
You want the board to do it maybe at the next meeting, if you come up with a suggestion?
Sure.
And I can work
Understand what
with
I'm saying,
Mark
Katie?
on that.
Yeah.
So
I
our
would
next
like to
year's
do it
appointment
now.
that we would do, which you're doing now, right?
Well, we already
No,
did
they
the
already
appointment,
did.
so
So
if
we'd
we
have to
could
bring
come
it
to the
back.
next meeting, and then she can tell me, do these people for X date, and then these people for X date,
Right.
and then leave the other people on
On the
the
1 year.
warrant.
As long as
Yeah.
I can sit with Mark and have the time to
Yep.
discuss that with him, because I wouldn't want to do that without his input.
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay.
Just got yourself to come to another
Alright,
meeting?
so,
Actually, you probably could do it, we could do it almost administratively, if you vote to
Yeah, we
support
still
the
do the motion
concept,
to
you could probably
approve
do it as an action item.
sure. Motion to approve the discussed and agreed upon Veteran Services Advisory Committee member appointment terms staggered.
Second.
So maybe we add to that,
3 years.
3-year
three-year terms staggered,
terms.
and you can develop
Yep.
the three, okay? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we have Foxborough's Cultural Council. Would you like to come forward? I know.
Thanks. Hi, good evening. Katie, can I have,
Yep, sure.
Katie has my notes.
We all come up. We need 2 more chairs, that's all.
Yeah, just slide
Bring
forward.
some chairs up.
The only thing I will say is make sure if you do speak, that you pull one of the mics close to you, please.
Good evening, thanks for having us here. Look at us. We are the Cultural Council, the Fox people.
name
Oh,
and-
sorry, yeah, and I will introduce myself. I'm Ken Carberry, the chair.
I'm Rick Benoit, support.
I'm Teddy Dre, I'm a member.
Joe Sanders, treasurer.
David Backrack, member.
Lori Co, member.
So when we first came about 3 years ago to discuss the foxes, the plan was, and it was a good plan, the plan was to, after 2 years on display, to auction the foxes off and use the money for additional arts and cultural programs in town. And it was a good plan, except the foxes were so spectacular, and people loved them so much, they don't want to lose them. So we have come to you with another plan to try to please everyone. Now, we didn't just do this on our own. We talked to 2 groups of people. We have a group of sponsors, folks who paid a lot of money to help sponsor the foxes, and we also then have just the townspeople. So we surveyed both groups. We sent a letter to our major sponsors, and I've included a copy of that, letting them know what our plan might be to try to keep the foxes where they are for at least the foreseeable future, and perhaps also add to them. And then we did a survey on Facebook and online of about, we surveyed 634 people, and we asked their opinions in town, and just see what they thought. And 93%, so 634 of the 685, said, yes, we want the foxes to stay. And we got no results, no negative results from the letter to the sponsors either. The only negative result we got was one person who said, oh, I wanted to buy them so I could give it to the town. So we thought, hey, we got you covered there. So we're asking you for at least the permission to, first of all, some of these foxes are on town land. We've got one at the library, we have one right here in front. So we would need additional permission to keep them there. And then also, we would like to add to what we have, because again, they've been so successful, we thought one more fox to kind of kick off the new community center would be great, but that of course we would need your permission for that. So that's really what we're here to ask for, is to see if that's something you agree with, that we can keep the foxes, because we are changing the plan. But again, our response has been overwhelmingly positive to this from both sponsors and citizenry. So we'll answer any questions you have.
Deb, do you have any questions? Amy?
I'm good.
Doc?
No, I think the plan is great. You still see, I live uptown, so I see people walking around and looking at the foxes all the time. And I think the idea of having one down at the community center is phenomenal.
I guess I have just one question out of curiosity. Are they holding up well?
Yeah, they really
Like
are.
being out in the elements?
Yes, we had them. We brought them to. I forget the name of the place. Anybody remember the name of the place in Mansfield? Thank you.
Because Keith was friends with the manager of the auto body shop.
And they put an acrylic cover as they would on an automobile on these things, and they're in great shape. So yeah, they are holding up. So we got the extra good acrylic that we paid a little extra money for it, and it really made a big difference. And the folks there at the Auto Pros actually did the work for free. We just had to pay for the paint. We got a lot of help from everybody. So they're holding up great. We expect them to last quite a few more years.
And, I mean, obviously, it was a fundraiser, so.
Right, yeah, good point. So what we'd like to do is get sponsorships, rather than selling them. We're looking to get sponsorships for the foxes that are on town property, just to people sponsor them, put their name tags on them. We have name tags on them now, but we can add to them as well. So we're looking for additional sponsorships to keep them where they are. And the ones that are on at the YMCA and at the library, we've gotten some support from both, at the MR PAC and at the YMCA, not the library. So at MR PAC and YMCA, we've gotten support from both of them where they'd like to support, and they're going to sponsor them as well. So they're going to do some fundraising and sponsor them as well. So we will get probably as much money, we hope, maybe a little bit less, but again, for the benefit to the town, we think it's great. I mean, if our goal was to get the money for public arts projects, well, this is the best one we can come up with, so I think it's win-win.
Great. And are there any other locations that you're considering, or would that be it at this point?
Yeah, not at this time. We have, they're a lot of work. So one fox at a time with maybe down the road, because, I mean, they are, we all love them, but we think one more, especially because of the new community center. I forget who, I think it was Joe who brought it up.
Actually, it was Paige's idea.
Was it Paige's idea?
I met her to ask her about how to come to this meeting about 6 months ago. She brought up the possible new fox. Give me full credit.
Yeah, so, yeah, Paige thought, but you're right, it's just because it would really let people know that it's there, really draw attention to the new community center, so we're looking forward to that.
One more quick question?
Sure.
And how would you go about getting the artist for that?
Well, the same way we did before, and which is basically nobody at this table. What we have an art committee, and it might be actually some of the people at this table, but we have of artists and some people from the formerly on the board who are artists, and then we put out a request for artists, and then our art committee. Last time, for instance, we got 75 or 80 submissions, and our art committee, which consists of visual artists, selected from there about 10 or 12. And then we as a whole board pick the 5. We'll do it the same way. I don't think we'll get 80 for the one fox, but one never knows. But we'll have our art committee pick what they think is the best, and then from that, we'll vote on it as a board.
Great.
All right. Motions?
Is there a motion? Or is it one?
There's no motion?
So motion to.
So,
You could do a motion to authorize a fox on the community center property, cover that, I mean, that.
because the other ones have already gotten
They're
approval,
there.
so there's no need, I don't think, to extend that, but,
Okay.
okay.
Motion to approve authorizing a new fox to be put at the new community center on Main Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate all your work.
Thank
Thank you.
Love those mugs. And
You can't have them, these are Joe's.
now you gotta get a
Yeah, we're gonna need a new mug. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Joe's excited about selling the new mug. Out of my garage. Thanks, Kate.
He gave one to me, Paige, and
Yeah, I have one.
me too. I have the blue one.
I have the blue one.
I didn't
I've
know
got
we were
one.
selling them.
You didn't know?
$20 a mug.
How did you miss it?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
He wasn't at Founder's Day last year.
But I mean, this guy's everywhere. It was everywhere with those things.
trunk.
300 of these.
No, you got one extra, you can do 301.
Are you getting a commission, or?
Probably all goes to the council.
Okay, next, bond issue? Oh, no, health insurance, health. I blew right by him.
You told me I was next.
Not it.
We just keep forgetting you all night, Mike.
So the FY '26 health insurance update.
Yeah, like we just, as the board knows, we learned earlier this spring that just very similar to a lot of other towns and a lot of other towns around us planning for FY '20 6, we're faced with a 14.35% in our health insurance premiums going into the FY26 plan year. So that 14.35% increase affects us on the town end. We typically, for an HMO, we pay 70% of the premium. For a PPO plan, we pay 50%. And then our employees for an HMO, they're responsible for 30% of the HMO, and on the PPO plan, they're responsible for 50%. So, a 14.35% increase, it really shakes out and has an impact on both the town and our employees. The trends that we've been facing up until now, we do have a 5-year average. A 7-year average of just over 5%. So faced with a 14.35% increase, it's definitely way above the norm that not only that we're accustomed to and that we need to absorb, but also our employees have to absorb as well. So a few weeks ago, we brought our employees together through the Insurance Advisory Committee to have a discussion with a lot of our employee representative groups. And we talked about offering what is referred to as a high deductible health plan. So right now, just as an example, the deductibles for the HMO plans that the town offers are $300 for an individual plan, $900 for our family plan. A high deductible health plan under our current health insurance arrangement would be $2,000 for an individual and $4,000 for a family plan. The trade-off for that is like a lower monthly premium for both the town and our employees. Really one of the best practices for towns and other entities offering a high deductible plan is to have some is to offer a health savings account to those employees who do pick up a high deductible plan, and oftentimes with a town contribution into the health savings account. Working through the IEC with the employee groups we had at the table, and then the additional employee groups we invited into the table, we were able to get to reach a consensus where the employee groups in the town, frankly, are amenable to offering, in addition to the current health insurance plans that we currently offer with no changes, an additional high deductible plan under the arrangement that I just mentioned, with a town contribution of 40% of that high deductible from FY26 to FY28. I have presented for the board's approval an agreement that we would enter into with each of the town's 16 individual employee groups that where the town, in the unions, would agree that a high deductible plan be offered for the following 3 years. With the structure that I just mentioned, and that's really what I wanted to bring before the board tonight. If the board is amenable in approving it, then the town would enter into individual agreements, as I mentioned, with the town's 16 employee groups that I was able to talk and work with during the last few weeks. As part of the process.
Okay. Anybody have questions? So again, just because we've had some access to some of the information prior, and And just as kind of a point of clarity, one of the biggest issues that's caused our increases is the utilization of our health insurance plan in the previous year. So you're always falling a year behind. Your rates basically are attributed to the year, and usually it's done on a 3-year average. But last year we had a 98% utilization, meaning 98% of what we collected from our employees and from the town basically was put right out into covering the cost. In past years, it's been closer to the 85% range, which is why our increases have been much lower. So I think that, being able to offer something to our employees that could potentially save them some money, obviously it's not for everybody, but the HSA also gives people another plan that they can use as a savings account that is portable. It goes with them if they were to leave us. With their investment and with our investment, it's not something we ever get any money back on, but it does help them to justify why they would take the added risk of the higher deductible and still saves the town potentially some money as well as themselves. So I think it's a great thing that you're bringing forward, Mike, and I think it's a good thing for the employees and for the town at this point that we move forward with this. We have a motion?
Yep. Motion to add the high deductible health plan to all employee groups.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we have bond issue.
Had a little bit more time. So I have, this is for after the meeting, so anything that's labeled with the little green sticky note will need signatures.
Okay.
Some of these are, looks like maybe there's a few. There's a few, so once you guys take a vote,
That chair looks really low. You might want the chair next to you.
once you guys take the vote, there are 2 pages that the clerk will need to sign just to certify that the vote occurred. And it has to be read in the way that it's presented, otherwise you have to read the entire 2-page document. We definitely do not want that.
Marie, can you just introduce yourself just for some people?
Yes, sorry.
who may not
So,
know?
I know it's been a while. So I'm Marie Almodovar, the finance director for the town. I'm here to basically provide an overview of the bond sale from last week. Just have a few notes here. So at the bond sale, the town received 12 bids. The winning bidder was BofA Securities with an average interest rate of 3.925%. They were able to offer us a premium of $960,000, and which we are then required by law to use that to reduce the amount that we actually borrow. So while we were authorized for $19.95 million, we are only going to borrow $18.99 million. So that will result in some savings to the taxpayers. Prior to the bond sale, S&P assigned a AAA credit rating to these bonds. They cited the town's positive finances, stable local economy, strong reserves, and robust and comprehensive financial management as positive credit factors. So we were able to maintain our AAA credit rating. For these 3 projects, the payments will begin in fiscal year 26. So we'll see, just like with our previous bond issuances, there's typically 2 interest payments in a year and 1 principal. The maturity date will be June 15th of 2045, so it's a 20-year. We did elect to go with level debt service, so essentially the combined amount of the principal and the interest will be roughly the same, so around 1.4, let me see here, around 1.45 million. And what you'll see is in the beginning years, we'll pay a higher interest, and then in the later years, the interest will be a lot lower and the principal will be higher. And lastly, the other thing I wanted to mention, so now that we know what our debt service for these 3 projects will look like, I went back in the Division of Local Services has an online calculator that you could use to estimate the tax bill impact on the average single-family home. So with a debt service, so for fiscal year 26, for example, with a debt service principal and interest of $1,461,239, the tax bill impact on the average single-family home, which currently for fiscal year 25 is valued at $645,717. The estimated impact will be $193.72 per year. And I've provided in the packet just different, it's a table that shows you values from 250,000 all the way up to 1.5 million, and just showing you what the estimated tax bill impact would be for all of the, for those properties. Let me see what else.
You said 145?
190, the tax, 193.72 on the average single-family home, which is at $645,717.
Thank you.
And then, so in order for us to proceed, we need you as the board to take a vote on, to approve the bond sale, essentially, that will allow the treasurer to move on. Any questions?
Questions?
No.
Right.
Thanks for all your hard work. I just want to acknowledge that while Marie was on maternity leave, there was quite a bit of work that only she could do. So this has been a long time coming, and a lot of work went into it. So thank you for, doing it while you technically were off, and just a lot of work goes into this.
Thank you.
Motion?
Motion to approve the details of the $18,990,000 bond issue dated 6/24/25 as they appear in the votes prepared by the bond counsel, and such will be put into the minutes of the meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boards and committees.
All right, so since boards and committees are my life, there's just a few things I'm asking the board to consider. So the first is, as a recommendation by the building commissioner, if we could disband the fence viewer committee. And the reason would be if I was a resident in town and my fence was falling apart, if it was over the 7 foot,
7 feet or more.
7 feet or more, I'd have to go through the building department anyway to have that building permit. And if it was falling apart, Scott could actually tell me that I need to fix that. If me and Paige were residents and I built a fence on her land and she wanted to challenge that, it wouldn't go to Scott. That would be a civil issue. They'd have to have a land surveyor come out and go at that privately. So there's really no use for this fence viewer, so we're, instead of just...
a little bit disappointed. It was kind of a funny thing last year.
Well, last year it was the hog reaver.
Yeah.
This year it's the fence viewer, so I'll just get rid of all these.
We're just losing history here.
Yeah.
Just kicking people out
Sorry,
of their
Foxborough's
jobs.
like changing a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, so...
As you know, that's hard.
Very hard, I get it.
Any comments or questions?
No. Motion to approve the disbandment of the fence viewer committee as recommended by the building commissioner.
Can we just as one point of interest, who was the fence viewers before?
Scott Chippy and Kevin Davis, who's the town engineer.
Right. So it's two of our own employees who are doing it anyway. It's not like that's a...
And bottom line, when anyone has a fence problem, whether it's 7 feet, 3 feet, or whatever, they go to Scott.
Right.
So he deals with all issues related to fences and everything
So I just
else.
want everybody to know, it's the same people going to be dealing with what they've been dealing with. So is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
So the second ask would be our liquor control agents, our chief of police, his command staff, and all of his sergeants. The liquor control agent position goes with the role. They're 1-year appointments right now, so it's just the same individuals being reappointed every year. The only way for someone to not be appointed in that role is if they were to leave the town or if one of their command staff or sergeants were demoted. So we're asking, with the support of Chief Grace, if we could have those appointments be indefinite until that person leaves the role.
And then you would just have them come nominate
And
them and.
whoever
okay.
replaces them with
Yep.
that, yeah.
Perfect.
So assuming you lose a sergeant, you pick up a sergeant then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Motion to approve the liquor control agent appointments to be indefinite until the individual leaves the role within the town of Foxborough or is demoted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And then, as we did last year, on the agenda, we have listed the board, committee, or commission, and then what you see next to that is the town employee liaison. If we could just go through the list, I'm not sure if the chair wanted to switch things up. There were 5 committees that Dennis was the liaison for as a select board. However you'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, I think unless people want to move around to different,
I'm comfortable where I am.
Okay, so Amy, just so you know, so it was, Dennis was on the select board liaison for the audit committee, the design review board, the historic district commission, the historical commission, and the survey board, if that would be okay with you.
if you don't want to do any of those, speak now and we can make some rotations.
Can I speak now?
Speak now.
Okay. There's a couple that I'm already sort of like ingrained in as like I was a part of it. I'd really like to do the Economic Development Committee, if that's possible.
Who has that one?
Deb.
I do. I don't.
Okay.
I'm
And then,
not picking up one of those ones, though.
Well, somebody has.
and then the other one I wanted to do was Veteran Services, if that was open.
Yeah, and that's Deb too.
Oh.
I'm taking all your jobs.
But that's
Really?
fine.
You
If
really
wanna-
taking everything away from
No,
Deb?
I didn't mean
Yeah.
that. It's just, I'm very active in those groups but I would like to
You
do.
can take economic development.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any one of those you'd be willing to pick up? Survey, historical,
Design Review, Historical Commission.
or audit? Historical.
I actually want to do audit.
Okay.
It's kind of my jam.
Okay, good.
Historical's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Well, so
you.
do you want both, the historic district and the historical?
No, she's only given up one, so she's only getting one.
I was just, okay. Historical, okay, got it.
This is,
I'll try to protect you a little, Deb.
let's make a deal. Keep playing Monty Hall.
Sorry, and then what about survey board?
The rest of them I can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't think any of them really meet that often.
No, I'd say not a lot of heavy lifting there.
Okay, sorry.
Not a
Okay, and then I
problem.
actually had one more ask it comes under boards and committees. So Chair, if you could tell me if this is possible, I did have, an individual reach out in the Foxborough Board and Committee Handbook. I have a mistake where I have the audit committee listed as 1- and 2-year terms, where it's actually supposed to just be 3-year terms. Is that something, it wasn't foreseen? Could we take a vote, or should I just add it to the next meeting?
I would just add to the next meeting.
Okay. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to, oh no, sorry, is there a motion?
No. So next up is Paige with her goals.
Yes. Okay, so I emailed all of you last week the goals for the town, select board, and town manager. So let me explain that. So we do need goals for our GFOA budget book that we submit every year. So that's the ones in the table format that I handed out. I think these should be townwide goals, town select board goals, but really, in reality, I'll be the one making sure they get executed. So they're kind of my goals as well. So I had, let's see, I think 5 goals. Yes, 5 goals to look at there, and I'm glad to cover them. And then in the back, on the back of the document, I included some personal goals that I didn't really think fit into the GFO handbook, kind of like taking classes and public speaking and whatnot. So those obviously do not fall under that. So let me just briefly, I don't want to read the entire document, but I could read goal number 1, which would be enhanced communication, transparency, and civic engagement. Under that would be some objectives: ensure the town website complies with all applicable and practical accessibility standards for individuals with disabilities and meets legal requirements for content retention and archiving. We added the term practicables because I want to make sure that it's within budget. You know, we might not be able to meet every letter of the law, but we certainly want to improve it so that it's available to those with vision impairment or otherwise. And Maura has been taking the lead on that and has a very good handle on that. We look to supplement the newsletter. I mentioned that at the last meeting. We want to add some fact sheets and short videos on key topics because some people don't want to read a long newsletter. They might want to read a snippet or they might want to watch a video. I know the younger crew, my kids watch videos. I like to read instructions. They like to watch YouTube videos on how to do things. Implement emergency notification system to allow the town to reach residents during critical and important events. That's something that's already underway, and we will be doing a large-scale publication of the availability because folks will have to sign up for it. But again, we're looking for that where if there was a water main break, we could tell a certain area of town. If there was a town-wide thing, we could do that. School bus delays, although the schools have their own, but we certainly would complement and work with them as needed. Continue the implementation of the strategic communications plan. And we want to enhance that with crisis communication. So ensuring we have a good plan for that. Our public safety is well versed in this, but we want the town side to have the muscle memory and be ready. And then continue to provide updates on major projects and initiatives. I will say I received a very kind email yesterday from a member of a committee here saying, hey, I wanted to let you know that my wife noticed or mentioned that she feels like the outreach from the town has really improved. So I wrote back and told her how much that meant to us, and we will look to continue that and try to improve. So I don't want to read the rest of it, but I'm wondering if you have any comments, questions, concerns, additions on what we have here under goal number 1.
Anybody before I? No. So my only thing is making it measurable. When you say continual implementation of a strategic communications plan, what is the goal for timing of getting that implemented, up and operational? Is it this year? Is it something that you think is a 2-year plan? What's
so we have that as Q2 through Q4, so October through June. We'd be seeking to have that implement. And the use of the strategic communication plan continues and is supplemented by the development of a tailored crisis communication plan for Foxborough specific scenarios in collaboration with relevant staff. So
our measure would be if it should be done by June 30th.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else? Okay. Goal 2. I just realized that my draft has a markup in it. How did I lose the color copy that I had? Oh, hey. Sorry. Right next to me. I pulled it out already. I just want to make sure I'm working off the right one because I noticed a markup on this one. So goal 2 would be work closely with finance officials to protect and enhance the financial health of the town. Goes without saying. The objectives under there are develop a fiscally responsible FY27 operating and capital budget that reflects community priorities, incorporates multi-year forecasting, and reduces reliance on free cash for recurring expenses. Number 2, expand public understanding of the town's financial position by preparing simplified, user-friendly summaries of budget data and sharing them through the town website, newsletter, and financial summit. Number 3, explore opportunities to periodically review existing fees and identify additional revenue sources, including grants, to help offset costs and reduce the financial burden on taxpayers. Number 4, Monitor and manage town council usage and associated costs to ensure legal services are used judiciously. Strive to resolve matters efficiently without incurring unnecessary expenses, while recognizing that appropriate and timely legal guidance can help avoid greater risk or cost to the town in the long term. And lastly, number 5, work closely with the craft group to maximize revenue generation and economic benefit to the town while minimizing costs to taxpayers. Strategically leverage those additional revenues to strengthen reserves and support major capital investments. Any comments, suggestions, edits on that one?
No, I like that.
Number 3, it's a long one. Promote strategic economic development that supports business growth, expands the commercial tax base, and enhances key areas like Uptown Foxborough and the Route 1 corridor, while ensuring growth aligns with the town's long-term vision. Foxborough remains committed to being a business-friendly community that welcomes investment and prepares for increased regional activity tied to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The objectives under there would be number 1, publish and promote the updated Foxborough Business Guide to assist new and existing businesses in navigating local processes and connecting with available resources. Number 2, collaborate with local, regional, and state partners to prepare Route 1 and surrounding areas for business activity related to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Ensure residents are aware of the opportunities and challenges anticipated. 3, work with Schneider Electric to plan for the future of their 55-acre Neponset Avenue campus, ensuring its eventual reuse aligns with community goals. 4, continue to advocate for the legislative change needed to redevelop the former State Hospital auditorium and adjacent land. Once legislation is secured, develop an RFP or bidding documents to ensure the future redevelopment reflects community goals and expectations. 5, continue to promote and support uptown revitalization efforts, including small business engagement, cultural events, public-private partnerships, and parking improvements. Any questions, comments on that one? Okay. Number 4, support a strong municipal workforce by enhancing employee development, strengthening recruitment and retention efforts, and ensuring competitive, cost-effective benefits. As you saw, we're working on. Number 1, conduct a review of the town's employee health insurance program to evaluate whether it is delivering the best coverage options at the most competitive cost to the employees and the town. Number 2, update and streamline the employee onboarding process while building out NeoGov for full utilization in hiring, onboarding, and employee evaluations. 3, enhance professional development by offering a variety of training opportunities that support employee growth and organizational effectiveness. 4, strengthen internal communication and leadership coordination through monthly department head meetings facilitated by the town manager. And 5, foster a positive and engaged workplace culture by recognizing employee contributions, encouraging feedback, and promoting collaboration across departments. Anything on that one? And then 5, develop and launch a comprehensive townwide strategic plan to guide Foxborough's long-term priorities, investment decisions, and community vision. Objectives under there would be 1, draft and issue an RFP for strategic planning consulting services, incorporating input from staff and the select board. 2, select and contract with a qualified consultant to lead the townwide strategic plan process. 3, form a strategic planning committee that includes representatives from major committees, town committees, staff, and community members. Alternatively, the select board may choose to serve in this role. 4, conduct robust community outreach and engagement, including surveys, listening sessions, and stakeholder interviews. And 5, facilitate the development of strategic focus areas, goals, and draft recommendations based on community input and best practices. Anything on that one? Okay, and then on my personal goals, I won't read those line for line, but I did speak to Marie, and there are some courses that are, I want to say, they're not structured classes. They're at my own pace, at my own time, that I will be participating in. For example, they have modules for summer, starting in the summer, that's starting right now, that I would work on that. And then there's a fall module, a winter, and a spring. So I can commit to doing that. And then she provided, the funny thing was I asked her for resources, and my goodness, it was like, she kept sending them to me and sending them. Finally, I was like, mercy, mercy. But it was really helpful because I think I've gotten a download of all the tools out there for local finances, and I do intend to look at them, use them as resources. I've already saved them all into my hard drive, and I will make sure that I have those accessible. And then public speaking, how to avoid filler words like and just continuing to work on that type of more effective public speaking. Silences are okay. Don't always have to say apparently. So I'm hopeful that the board is comfortable with these. I'm open to discussion.
No, I think they're well done.
Yeah, I think it's well drafted.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think they hit all the key points that, should be addressed during the year, so I think we're in good shape there.
So coming up soon will be the strategic plan RFP. That's something I need to focus on once I get through this week, and definitely will be bringing the draft. I'm going to actually circulate it through the town department heads first, and then bring it to the board for your review and consideration and endorsement, and then we can go out to bid and get that process moving.
How much money do we have?
100,000.
Okay.
So I'm hoping for a motion on the goals, because I do need to include them in the GFOA book.
Okay.
Does anybody have a problem with
No,
accepting
no.
them as is? Okay.
Okay. So motion to approve, hold on, sorry.
Accept, yeah.
Okay. Motion to accept the town manager goals as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Okay, I think it's still me, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Town manager update?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, so the biggest news came into this morning, and with my prior hat, it's very exciting, but even with today's hat, it's exciting. The Mass Gaming Commission announced this morning the authorization of award of $497,000, $497,500 to the towns of Foxborough for our municipal block grant to be used for the Foxborough Plainville Rentham Tourism Initiative. So that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, and we are so appreciative. The reason being, we're going to be using that to buy ads. All the work we've done since 2019 when this started was, an inventory, a report, a strategy, an inventory, the website, built all that, and clearly they are behind us all the way because they now recognize that at the time we have all these tools and we haven't been able to really get them out because we couldn't afford to. So with this big spend, we're able to start buying, we'll do advertising in papers, our marketing consultant will advise us. We're poised right before World Cup to do it, so that was a very exciting bit of news to walk into this morning.
Awesome.
So that's great, and it really proves that they love our project, and it shows that they continue to love our project. So we are hopeful that with this round, it will launch this initiative, and it could almost become something where we're not running it. Perhaps we can find a way where it pays for itself, and we can leverage that to really become more of a tourism entity here in this region. So stay tuned.
So you'll use, I would imagine, some of the billboards and stuff like that as well? Because
Yes,
those are-
whatever the marketing
Yeah.
consultant recommends, we're going to go. And I know Catherine now, we were talking about it this morning, we're probably going to now have, well, I don't get to do it anymore, but the bi-weekly meetings, now that we have all these resources, we have to spend them very wisely. And we still have a little bit of money left from the last grants. And so we'll be doing the current buys with that, and then this will kick in FY, the current fiscal year. So we're very excited about that. We did get a ruling from the Attorney General's office on the accessory dwelling unit zoning passed at town meeting. You will see some changes coming in the fall to tweak some of the provisions. They did acknowledge that we wrote our bylaw before their guidance came out, and we wouldn't have known some of these things. So there will be a fall town meeting at which this will be discussed. And as you can well imagine, Barney's already on it, and we really appreciate him. The Department of Land Use and Economic Development has submitted a grant application to the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative for design services to improve the comfort, safety, connectivity, and aesthetic of the Central Street Veterans parking lot. So we continue to try to approve that. Chris is under the gun, and he's working on getting paving done out there by June 30th. It's coming down to the wire, but he's well aware of it. I have full confidence. A video on Walnut Knoll is available on Foxborough Cable Access's YouTube channel. We had a panel discussion about this project with the Housing Authority and the Walnut Knoll developers. The key thing that came out of the video for me, and I wasn't aware of, is we've heard people sort of lament the rent is higher than they expected because it's not your traditional Housing Authority product. The most interesting thing for me was that all utilities are included. So electricity is covered in your rent. So while there's still, it's a little, some of the 80% are going to be higher than folks probably expect, just know that that does include your heat and your cooling and the only thing the residents have to pay for is cable and telephone if they choose to do it. I wasn't aware of that, and that's a great perk. So if that changes anybody, they are actively using the old senior center and interviewing folks, so feel free to still get in your application. For the community center, the elevator contract has been awarded, so we're still hoping that we can open by or around the end of the year. And then fire department, exciting news. They received a notification that says, based on your outstanding pre-hospital cardiovascular care, the department has been awarded the American Heart Association's highest award, Gold. This recognizes efforts for caring patients experiencing stroke and cardiac events. And there's a whole list of all the things they do. But again, we all knew they were top-notch, but the American Heart Association is acknowledging that much of the work our fire department is doing is saving lives and truly benefiting folks here in Foxborough. The wind tunnel's demolition should be completed by July 24th, and as you know, they were doing off-hours work, and there have been no complaints to date from the building department or the police department. And one of the things that's really top of mind for all of us now is that World Cup is in less than a year. The dates of matches are June 13th, this is all 2026, June 13th, 16th, 19th, 23rd, 26th, 29th, and July 9th. We will acknowledge that the June 13th date conflicts with Founders Day. The Founders Day committee is aware of this, and I did email her last week about it, Monica, and she kind of said, let me get through Saturday before, so I know they're aware of that, and there might be discussion of changing the date, because I know public safety doesn't feel they could do both World Cup and Founders Day on the same date. Also want to acknowledge that June 16th, based on the current calendar, appears to be the last day of school, so I don't know, how that would affect it. I do think we're going to want to have conversations moving forward about logistics and how the town handles things. Does the town want to, and we don't know how big of an issue is, but will residents want to be parking cars? And Chief Grace isn't sure there'll be even that many cars because we're really they're promoting public safety and we have a lot of folks coming from overseas. I've heard some people say, well, the town should just go easy this time. The residents are so inconvenienced. Let them kind of have an opportunity to make money. On the other hand, that's not what our regulations say. And when you have complaints between neighbors, this is a month-long situation or a 5-week situation. So I just think this leadership group and all of us should probably talk about our approach. There's also the Airbnb situation. We know people are going to Airbnb their homes. We don't have any regulations on the books. I don't think we're thinking of adding any regulations, but if there was a strong outcry from this board or from others, again, kind of that, do we want to put a hammer down on folks that are going to be heavily inconvenienced? So maybe something to think about, and then we'll talk about more. I did speak to the craft group about starting to get messaging out. I know the matches won't be available until December or a little later, so we're not going to know. I mean, if you have small country matches, you might not draw the huge crowd, but if you end up with like an Argentina, Netherlands, I mean, that will have an effect. We do have, I believe it's a quarter-final round as well, so that could be high intensity. Our public safety is heavily involved in planning. Maura's now in the communications team. Catherine's been attending events. I've been attending some. So there are a lot of moving parts. Just let me know how much you want to be involved. But I do think community voice is going to be really important as more information becomes available. I also want to acknowledge that we've had some complaints and concerns registered about. There's a plan that went to the Conservation Commission last night about the train station being upgraded and some additional tracks. I actually don't even know the specifics of it. It's a tough situation, and I will address some of the concerns that I got by email, but the limit of scope for a Conservation Commission is extremely narrowly focused. So if they meet the standards of the state's Wetland Protection Act, the Conservation Commission doesn't necessarily have an ability to go beyond that. Zoning is, the state is able to do what they want pretty much out there with respect to land use. They do have to follow state rules. Town rules are dicier. I know there's folks concerned about the use of Ashcroft for construction vehicles. A reminder is we don't own Ashcroft. It's actually owned by the Kraft Group. So we are aware of it. I know we're going to be trying to reach out to the residents that complained, but I know folks are concerned about fencing that might go up there and if it's going to be removed. Again, that's a really tough one because we don't have a say over that. And you can almost understand why, as they increase the number of trains being used there, they don't want people on their railroad tracks. And I don't think the town certainly couldn't indemnify that or whatnot. So folks have to be somewhat realistic on that. And I don't know what the plan is, but it's not something that we could say to them, don't let our residents cross the railroad tracks. It's just not something that I think from a best practice that's going to fly. And I just want to acknowledge that that's a practice that's gone on for many years, and I just want to acknowledge the limitations. So Catherine is looking at the Conservation Commission issue. We don't think there was anything done improperly there, but she is aware of it. I believe she was at the meeting. So we are hearing folks, and our hands are somewhat tied on this. Boards and committee update. There are some open seats. The Agricultural Committee has 3. Cable TV has 5. Foxborough Cleanup Committee is unlimited. Foxborough Commission on Disability, 2 seats. Cultural Council, unlimited. Design Review, 1 opening. Open Space, 1 opening. VSAC has 2. Employee Insurance, the bus driver rep, the secretarial rep, custodial rep, DPW rep, and non-union rep. We need those. With respect to human resources, we have some open positions. We have a conservation agent position on the website right now, and also a part-time community substance use coordinator. That's the one funded by the opioid funds, so that's going out for July 1. Also have recreational instructional assistant and a DPW water tech. Lastly, construction. You'll see that folks are busy out on Walnut Street and 140 working on the traffic signal. Believe that's due by July 15th, so we anticipate that wrapping up soon. Sewer has been run down North High Street, and they're working on connections. PJ Keating will be in town just before and after July 4th to work on the repaving of Market, Rock Hill, Union, Gilmore, that Centennial area. Chris did note that they wanted to come in last week, but he did not want to rip up Uptown right before Founders Day, so that's why it's happening then. It's also going to be happening at the Joanna Drive, Beaumont's Pond neighborhood right around that time. The DPW building, the front parking lot has been dug up and it's unsafe, although I noticed that the town website no longer, Katie, do you know if they took away, we had to close the DPW building for the public and it was on the website and now it's not popping up anymore. So you might want to check before you go to the DPW building. When I went by, it was not safe, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be paved this week, so by the end of the week, the binder will be down, so that's going to be fine. It's actually graded now, so we did have a meeting there today, a posted meeting, which was open to the public and was handicap accessible, so.
Okay. That's probably why it's
So I
down.
think they're okay, but in the next couple of days, they're actually going to be heavy activity doing the paving, so obviously you're not going to be able to get onto the property there. You'd have to walk around.
So anyone going to the DPW building, you might want to call first. And just a reminder, the staff will be there, though, so they will be answering phone calls. You could send an email, and don't forget See-Click-Fix. If you see a problem, you can always report it through See-Click-Fix, and that seems to get a great response rate. And Bill, I believe they're still shooting for December completion?
Early December, yes.
Great. And then at the PFAS plants, Chris Gallagher reports that they're erecting columns and beams, so that project is moving on. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. As far as Select Board update, just a few items. Obviously, Founder's Day, I want to first of all thank the Boy Scouts for carrying our banner. They did a great job for us. We appreciate that. Also, I think everybody, committee members were all there, and it was a great day to be able to enjoy with the community itself, so thank you all for that. The firefighters memorial ceremony that was held last week. The memorial is just out behind me right here on the town promenade for 3 firefighters who passed away 125 years ago. I think the fire department did a phenomenal job with the presentation and with the ceremony itself. I think the plaque and the monument outside, for anybody who is interested to come and see it, speaks for itself and really does give the points. It's interesting, when we were building this building, we hit the corner of an area that had some contamination, and we found out at that point that was the remnants of the building that had burned down, that we needed to eliminate. So kind of a story that went full cycle for me, at least. And then just a reminder that our Select Board summer schedule, we meet once in July on July 15th and once in August on August 19th. So it won't be 2 meetings in those 2 months, just 1. And that's all I have. Does anybody else have anything?
I have a small tidbit. Ending off the Founder's Day weekend, Deb and I were at the fishing derby. And I would just like to thank Heather Harding and the Recreation Committee for asking myself and Nate from the school committee to volunteer, and we were both up there wearing fish costumes.
I thought you were going to leave that out when she said volunteer.
Well, I figured I deserve a little sympathy from everybody on this board. What a fool I made myself for about 4 or 5 hours that day, and we didn't get one kid to take a photo with us. Heather said she'll just stand, and she said as they come by, and we'd be like, hi, and they'd be looking at us, and then, I'd be, you want to take a photo? No, and they just cowered by us. But I will tell you, I've heard how much fun that the fishing derby has been for so many years, but I've never been up there, and I hate to say it, I've never walked the lane property either. So it was, something, the kids had a blast. What a great event for them, and I was thrilled just to be there and hang out. The kids they're running up with, as fast as they can with fish and getting them measured, and congratulations to all the prize winners. There was one for the biggest fish, smallest fish. The biggest fish was 17 inches. The smallest one was 2.5 inches, just a little baby one. So
Was that stocked, or are those natural fish living there?
There was a snake caught.
Oh, and a snake.
And a snake.
Stocked.
Yeah.
No, they're natural.
They are? Okay.
Yeah. No, but nobody was. They were a little disappointed because they wanted the snake. The snake was like. They wanted. They were like, well, doesn't this count? And Heather said it's the fishing derby, not the snake derby. So it was, something. First time helping out, and I would definitely go back again. It was, the kids had such a good time. It was
I one time caught a rock. Literally a rock. I was in a river on a kayak and fishing. Wow, don't ask. And reeled in something really heavy, and obviously had some moss on it, and it was a rock this big. So I've caught a rock.
You're supposed to catch a boot, not a rock. But yeah. So anyhow, that was a lot of fun.
Okay. Moving on to police chief's contract. Paige, you want to?
Yes, so we are proposing, I have come to terms with Chief Grace for a contract for 3 years. And it is somewhat consistent with last time. It is a 3% increase in salary with similar benefits to last, a slight adjustment in clothing allowance and life insurance, sick time. But generally speaking, it is quite consistent with Chief Kelleher's contract, and we are seeking, I did speak to the board about it during executive session, and we are now prepared to bring it forward. It will be available on the website once signed, but I'm hopeful that this board will support it. You can vote to sign it. I am the one who signs it, but I'm hoping for endorsement by this board after having reviewed and discussed it.
Yeah, and I think just in full disclosure, the only other significant change was the contribution by the craft organization towards his salary for work that he does up there. Again, similar to Chief Kelleher, both be in line with each other. And so the town's increase is a 3%, but there's also a stipend increase from the stadium.
Correct. My apologies, I left that little part out.
Yeah. Well, and just so they know at home too, I mean, obviously it looks like it's a pretty big bump, but in fairness to Chief Grace, I think we were finding out, of course, as they have more, events up there. It's not just football anymore. There's a lot going on, and they get pulled up there, for the college games, the soccer. And so, so if anyone looks and says, wow, what a big jump, I think what happened was when we did Chief Kelleher's after the last one for Chief Grace, we realized what the pull was up there. And so, so we just brought him up to what we gave, like you mentioned, what we gave. So if anyone's wondering why it was such a big, jump, he's actually been kind of behind the 8 ball for the last couple of years, because that's when it was really brought to our attention how much they have pulled up there.
Right, and we do have documentation here for 2024 Gillette events that there were so many. And this is a non-World Cup, non-Army, Navy year. And it just between the games and the concerts, he really has earned that stipend. And now with World Cup, we won't even come close to covering that, but we can't be going up and down, and it's not going to be dollar for dollar. Some years might be busier, other years. And we also acknowledge that we're reaching sort of the cap on the stipend, that we're probably going to have to level out. I mean, obviously there'd be cost of living adjustments at that point, but at this point we're finding that it looks like it's commensurate with the amount of time he's spending up there on the average year.
Which just reminded me of one other thing I wanted to say when you were doing your update, and that was with the calendar that you gave us for the World Cup, that means a significant portion of our summer money that we normally would get from concerts spread out between June, July, and August, we're now going to see in June.
We aren't sure we're going to see it in June. I was speaking with Marie about that.
Okay.
It's more than likely it'll come in July.
Okay.
So she's thinking it'll be in FY27. And we also were concerned we'd lose concerts, and that is not the case. Our understanding is that there's a group of stadiums that are hosting World Cup. So Live Nation and the other promoters are aware of that. They're moving the acts to the non-World Cup stadiums early in the summer. And I know there are a considerable number of holds already for concerts beginning at the end of July next year through the fall. So we do not anticipate, let alone the equivalent of 7 Super Bowls, as they call it, we anticipate a robust concert season as well.
Even though they have to redo the field?
Yes. Oh. They're going to according to Jess, the chances are, because they'll have to just get rid of the grass because they can't really hold concerts on that, but that she believes, and obviously she's not in that operation, but her understanding is that they'll go to turf very quickly. They won't be trying to save the grass.
Okay. You don't want some for your front yard? No. Right. Very good, thank you. So do we have a motion to support? Is that what you're looking for, basically?
Okay. Motion to support the contract for the police chief, Michael Grace.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Action items. We did the first one, thank God.
Okay. Extended hours request. Archilios Taqueria at 265 Patriot Place, Axel and Burn at 267 Patriot Place, Citizens Crust at 21 Patriot Place, Estella Patriot Place at 21 Patriot Place, Fat Tuesday at 26 Patriot Place, Red Robin's American Gourmet Burgers and Spirits at 201 Patriot Place, Sixth String Grill, 275. Oh, I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't read the motion.
The motion part of it?
Shoot. Okay. It's fine. I'll fix it in the end. Patriot Place.
They just bleeped you out, so it's okay.
Saga Hibachi Steak House at 295 Patriot Place, Splitsville, Howl at the Moon at 220 Patriot Place, the Scorpion Bar and Mexican Cantina at 253 Patriot Place, and Wormtown Brewery at 250 Patriot Place to serve alcohol, accompanied by food on September 7th, 21st, and 28th, October 6th, November 2nd, and November 14th, as the Patriots will play at home with a 1 p.m. estimated kickoff.
One correction.
Sure.
It's November 2nd and December 14th.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
All right, October 6th, November 2nd, and December 14th, as the Patriots will play at home with a 1 p.m. estimated kickoff.
And basically, the motion is to,
Extend hours.
yeah.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to approve the extended hours request for Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse at 1 Patriot Place and Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place and Hilton Garden Inn at Patriot Place at 28 Patriot Place to serve alcohol accompanied by food for brunch beginning at 10 a.m. starting on September 7th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to approve the Foxborough J.C.'s Car Show on August 24th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the same layouts as years prior, with closing down Central Street starting from Wall Street to the Common.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a lot of fun, by the way.
Opposed?
Yeah, I'm super disappointed because I usually run it, and I'm not this year. But they're going to do a great job. Move to confirm the correction to appointment term for Blair Crane as associate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals to a 1-year term.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Move to confirm the correction to appointment term for Eric Hogberg as associate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals to a 1-year term.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve Ellen Garber to the Stadium Advisory Committee for a term to end May 31st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve Joseph Sanders to the Stadium Advisory Committee for a term to end May 31st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to a memorial bench honoring the Foxborough J.C.'s service to humanity since 1961.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve a donation of $1,200 for the J.C.'s memorial bench.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Motion to approve a memorial tree honoring Thomas N. Russo to be planted on Peason Field.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Motion to accept the donation of $1,300 by the Foxborough Historical Society for a memorial bench located at the community center.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve a donation of $500 for memorial tree to honor Thomas N. Russo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Motion to accept the donation of $1,350 by the Landolfi, Sebastian, Jothlingham, Skarkoshi, Gua, White, Gallagher, and Everson families for the youth police program.
Second.
Easy to use today. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to accept the donation of $1,000 by the American Legion Post 93 to be used for future Veteran Department events.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to accept the donation of $10,500 from Partners in Patriotism Fund
Second.
to the Foxborough Police Department to be used for programming and tuition costs for kids to attend the upcoming Junior Police Academy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes for May 27th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.